In the 1980s, very few hair metal bands took off as quickly and made as much of an impact as Bon Jovi, the bad boys out of New Jersey. And thanks to our good friends at NECA, we are able to celebrate their debut album. Dave, how excited are you to talk about Jon Bon Jovi?
We are combining two of my favorite things in the world, and that is action figures and 80s rock.
So, it doesn't get much better than that. Dave, have you picked up one of these yet yourself?
I have. I love it. But let's take a look at this and see if it is one you would like to lay your hands on, or if it is just bad medicine for your toy collection.
With that, let's take a trip into the Plastic Multiverse. Well, here he is in all of his jean jacket glory. It's NECA's Jon Bon Jovi from the Slippery When Wet tour. This is a figure that just came out within like the past few months. And I got to say, as a fan of hair metal and a fan of Bon Jovi, this is a really fun figure to add to the collection. Dave, I knew you were really excited when you saw I got mine. You went out and got yours.
I am. I had to have it. I love seeing NECA dip their toes into music figures. Kind of wish we might have gotten a 2-pack with Richie Sambora, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Richie Sambora would be a nice addition. But, you know, the great thing about this figure is it's the standard that you expect from NECA. You've got lots of great accessories, really nice paint apps, really great detail, and, again, decent posability. If you've had a 6-inch figure from their horror line, you pretty much know what to expect from the posability here. We'll go into it a little more in depth, but if you've collected NECA, you know what to expect, and this is a really solid figure. I do like that it's incorporating the new face plates that they've announced that have having multiple heads.
And I typically collect NECA a little more on the TMNT side. So when we get into the articulation, I was a little surprised that it's more than I expected.
Yes, I will say it's definitely more than I expected as well. And there is some really cool stuff. So let's take an in-depth look at the figure and his accessories. So let's take a look at that now. So here he is in all of his glory, ready to take the stage for the tour. Guitar in hand, this is your Jon Bon Jovi from NECA. Dave, getting to see this thing out of the box, what were your initial thoughts, man?
One thing I noticed that this thing has a lot of unique parts.
Yes.
You know, NECA really likes to milk those molds for all they can get, and I was just kind of impressed that they could have really cut a lot of corners on this, but they didn't. And I don't see this getting re-releases like you would see with the Universal Monsters, where you get the black and white version.
Right.
This is a lot of effort for a one and done.
You know, here's the box. Of course, he comes in. Here is the microphone. There is the second faceplate and the second hands that are more for like holding on to the microphone stand. Now, of course, he's already got on the regular faceplate. There's his guitar, and he's got the hands that are actually set for playing the guitar. Now, one of the things I thought was really neat is when you look at this hand, there's the guitar pick in it, much like they did with the Willie Nelson figure this past year. But the other hand, I thought was just going to be a generic hand, but it's not. It's actually imposing for fretting, so it really does have, like, it looks like he's actually playing the guitar.
And when I first saw that hand, I thought, you know, this isn't going to work with the guitar because it's too tight. But it's something I've never really seen in a figure hand, and it's a very soft plastic where you can really open it up to position it on the neck of the guitar.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you can really make it look like he's playing it. Of course, the guitar itself, based on like the Fender Stratocaster, even got the 3 pickups on it. Very, very nice. There's even, I'll pop his head off here so that we can kind of talk about other accessories that you're not really noticing. These scarves, but I will point out on the back of the guitar even, you can see that there's actually like detail there as well. And that is very surprising to me, but there actually is paint detail, which is pretty cool. Sorry about that. When you're headless, it's hard to hold a guitar. But again, as you can see, like really nice detail. They didn't have to go that hard, but they sure did, and it really does look nice.
And something I noticed, which I thought was a really cool detail, is on this scarf, it's actually got, if you can see there, it's got the collar of his jacket molded onto the scarf. So when you put it on him, it looks like he's actually got it under his collar. But
yeah,
he's also got a collar on his jacket, so it still looks right if you do it without the scarf.
Yeah. And of course, like I said, these scarves are pieces that you can take off. They are very nice accessories. We'll try to show these a little up close here, if we can get it to focus a little bit there. There, you can see in there, you can see the collar that he was talking about, which again, is a very nice little detail. And then you have this other very cool looking scarf as well. So you can mix and match. You know, you don't have to keep it all together. You can have none on, or you can have both on, or just one on. So you can kind of play around with that for posability, or for just the look. So also some nice details here.
Yeah, the details underneath the scarf, which looks really good when you have him just in the jean jacket, which they could have easily just fudged and skipped that, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, he's got some very nice details there. You can see where his jacket says rock. You even get on the elbows, there is some wear and tear there on the jacket. Really nice shred look on that elbow. And then as you can see, he's even got like his little tassels and stuff hanging off of his belt. So just, I mean, it's just really amazing, like the little details I did not expect to see on this figure.
And as we were mentioning earlier off screen, NECA is so notorious for paint rub on the joints that when I took this thing out of the package, I thought, oh man, his elbow is just completely screwed up there, and it's all rubbed off. But then I realized, yeah, it's a rip, so it's supposed to look like this.
Yeah, it really is. And again, you can see the detail in the pants there, just some really cool stuff. You can see the lacing that's just, you know, put into the mold.
Yeah, this is all raised detail. I don't know how well that comes across on the screen.
Yeah, but it's really, you can feel it. It's textured. I mean, all the way down to his boots. Lots of nice textures that you just don't normally see in these kinds of figs. And then there's his face. You can see he's got a necklace as well, and the hair. We can also show you the other cool thing here, the face plate. Okay, so all you have to do is pop off the face. So that's kind of freaky. Yeah, I get it. But you simply bring the other one in. You just pop it in place, and the hair does a really nice job of covering up the seam, so it looks very, very natural. And again, just a really cool look. So you got him singing or yelling, whatever you want him to do in your pictures, but it's a really, really good look.
And if you would like for another one of your figures to go as Jon Bon Jovi for Halloween, I guess
you feasibly could do that, yes. So that's the nice thing about this fig. Lots of great details, really great paint. There's even like a wash to his hair that you can kind of see there. It just gives it like different layers of color. And then we'll show you really quick up close the additional hat, or the additional hands, I'm sorry. And they have the rings and stuff too, so very, very nice. But they're just, you know, standard hands. Nothing, you know, nothing crazy, but they do a really good job for the figure. So you can hold on to the microphone and, you know, dance all over the stage, which is really cool. On that note, here is the microphone. And this is a nice piece. It looks really good. I wish that the microphone like moved up and down. It does not, but it does look really good on the stand. And if you didn't know this, Dave, I don't know if you noticed not, the mic part actually comes off, so you can slide his hands onto it, and then you just pop it back on, and he's able to hold on the microphone really, really well.
I actually did not realize that, because yesterday when I was opening it, I was trying to see if the black mic came off of the stand, but it obviously does not. But yeah, I learned something new along all of you guys.
So there's that. And again, there's just really, really nice details. Dave, any final thoughts on the accessories and details of this fig?
Not on the accessories, other than, like I was mentioning earlier, it doesn't seem like it has a lot of accessories when you're thinking of a NECA Ultimate figure, but you gotta consider too, there's probably so much that went into this budget for so much unique tooling. And all of the accessories aren't really what you would typically think of as accessories. They're not things that you would carry or interact with. You know, you've got multiple scarves, there's a guitar, a microphone, the alternate faceplate. So there's a lot of accessories, but they're all part of the figure. I'd mentioned that if they could have done it, it would have been really cool to just had some small paper props that probably wouldn't have added too much to the budget, like maybe like a concert tour poster for photography, or even like the Slippery When Wet album that they could have easily just made just like a little cardboard square just for something fun to pose with. But I really no complaints for me. It looks great.
Well, with that, let's take a look at the posability, articulation for Jon Bon Jovi. Okay, so he definitely knows how to rock, but can his body help rock like his accessories do? So let's take a look at his articulation. So let's start with the head. You get your typical ranges of motion, right? He can look up. You kind of get the more of the torso involved, but if you just take even the head itself, looks up really well, actually.
Yeah, that torso swivel goes a long way.
It really does.
Some great poses.
And you can have him look down somewhat. Now, the faceplate makes it a little bit harder to go like straight down, but you do get some, and again, if you're playing around with your angles with your camera, you can definitely make it look like he's looking down at the audience. It is a little bit, as you can see from the side, it's not the best, but it can go a little bit. Now, you can, of course, also get like a little bit of your head tilts, but the hair mold does kind of stop that a little bit. But it's there, you can play around with it. But your standard ball joint, we'll pop the head off here so you can see. It's just the standard ball that NECA always uses. Nothing new, nothing groundbreaking there. But you do get, of course, the faceplate, which is nice. And you hear that nice click, so the head goes on very, very well. So let's look at the arms really quick here. You can see, hang on, let's get them back in focus. Sorry.
I'm interested to see how yours does, because the joints on my figure's arms are incredibly tight.
Yeah, they're a little tight, but you can get pretty decent T-pose. Let's put his arms a little more straight there. You can get a decent T-pose. And like standard NECA, there's not really like a bicep swivel, but at the elbow, you get a little more than 90%, 90 degrees, angle. So not too bad. But you also get the swivel, in the elbow as well. So you can have him, moving his arm up and down, like playing the guitar, or that probably looks worse than I wanted it to. But you do get that typical NECA swivel. And then, of course, the articulation on the wrist. The hands do have their own little bend to them. And, you can, of course, turn them any which way you want, but you definitely get as you can see there, you can bring the hand down, you can bring the hand up, and that's for both sides.
When I first saw this figure, both in pictures and in the window box, my impression was this thing is not going to have very good range of leg.
Right.
That crotch piece goes down so low and over so far. But what I wasn't expecting is that this piece is actually a soft rubber.
Yes, it is. So first of all, we want to show you the torso really quick. You do get, as you can see, look at that hair. Man, look at that chest. You get the swivel up top, okay, which is really nice. As you can see, you get a little bit of a rocker there as well. And you get the swivel at the waist. So you get real good posability. He can really get into some cool poses as we'll pull some photos up here that we've taken. And now let's, of course, look at the legs. And as Dave said, this is surprising. Dave, did you expect you'd be able to get kung fu kicks out of Bon Jovi?
I did not, he's not Spider-Man. He doesn't need ninja poses, but he can get those good rock star kicks going on.
And he can, side kick, right? He can get that really kicking out there because, in the 80s, guys were like jumping and kicking all the time. David Lee Roth, Bret Michaels, Bon Jovi, there you go. You get not the best going backwards, as you can see. It doesn't go too far back, but with the knee, you can get more back there. But like you said, Dave, he's not Spider-Man.
It always does concern me a little bit when you're dealing with more of a soft rubber, how this is going to hold up over time. Like, is this going to deteriorate or turn sticky? I've had that happen with a lot of figures, but hopefully they've kind of fixed that problem over the years.
Now, like I said, you do get the knee bend and you get some swivel there. So you can have him, pop his leg up and sit down if you wanted. You can pull that off. So you do get the swivel that you normally have in these NECA figures. And again, decent bend, about 90 degrees, a little under, but not much. And then, of course, with the feet, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit out of focus there. You do have a boot cut swivel, which is really nice. And you get really good action on the ankles, including a little bit of a rocker there, or actually a lot of a rocker, actually. So you get some really good action on those boots. And again, the boots, as you can see, they're a very unique, mold. They look really good. But you get that on both, and it's really, really cool. So you can truly get, if you want him to like fly like Superman, you can get that pose, man.
Yeah, your mileage may vary because I did not think he had an ankle rocker.
Yeah.
So you might want to, hit it with a hairdryer, loosen up those joints a little bit.
Always a good call to loosen up the joints, guys. If you're new to the game, especially with like NECA and Mythic Legions and Mezco, always good to kind of hit him with the dryer. But as it stands, there he is. Bon Jovi, really good posability. Dave, I'm with you. I didn't think we'd have that much, but boy, he really delivers.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park with this one. I hope it's the first of many rock figures from NECA.
Yeah, I would love to see a whole lineup, man. We need like, Guns N' Roses, we need Def Leppard, like, bring it on, man.
Yeah,
bring all the hair metal.
When you just mentioned David Lee Roth, that's
Diamond Dave, man.
Now in my top one.
Yep, Diamond Dave. Put him in the jump outfit. Let's just go. But anyway, there is the posability. And so now let's just kind of take a look as Bon Jovi is about to enter the Plastic Multiverse. Who will he meet? Who will he play with along the way? I don't know. Stick around as he enters the Plastic Multiverse. So there you have it. Jon Bon Jovi's trip through the Plastic Multiverse. I will tell you, Dave, when I first got this figure, the first thing I thought of is if I don't see him with the Ninja Turtles and they're coming out of their shelves tour, then what's the point of life at this point?
It had to be done.
It had to be done. And not only did he get to visit with them, he also got to hang out with Alf. And if you don't have the NECA Alf, man, get the NECA Alf. It is absolutely a fantastic figure.
Highest
of recommendations. And of course, there's the rock version of Alf coming out this year. Be on the lookout for a review on this channel where we will be definitely featuring Alf stock. Who knows who all's going to be there, but I'll promise you it's going to be a legendary list. But that is Jon Bon Jovi. So let us know in the comments down below. Have you picked this thing up yet? Are you a hair metal fan and just had to have him in your collection? Dave, as we're wrapping up, your final thoughts on this rock legend in plastic form.
I no notes. I love it. Just, but let us know. Is this one a dead or alive for you, or does it give toys a bad name?
That's a very good question to ask. And with that, of course, we remind you, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you're following us on Instagram, you'll see our accounts come up there. I have my own account, Dave has his own, and we even have an account for the Plastic Multiverse. So follow all three of us. That way you can find out what we're going to be talking about next and see, other pictures that you may not see on this channel. It gives you a chance to see more about the figures. Again, folks, it's really what it's all about in this day and age. We get cool figures like this. I mean, yeah, you've got your Universal Monsters and Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe and He-Man. But as an 80s kid, I gotta say, bringing Bon Jovi into the mix, it's pretty fantastic.
I wouldn't have expected it, but I'm glad it happened.
Absolutely. So that's going to bring this episode of the Plastic Multiverse to a close. We thank you for joining us within, and we remind you, of course, as always, to collect what you love and just love being a collector.
And if anybody has a problem with it, you tell them, it's my life. It's now or never. I don't want to live forever. I just want to live while I'm alive.
And I'll tell you right now, like Frankie said, you did it your way. We'll see you next time.